Welcome to Hindsight Hacking. I'm Corey Carter.
And I'm Ron Cool, and we've talked to hundreds of entrepreneurs hacking their hindsight to give you better foresight.
And now we're bringing you those same great interviews along with other mindset hacks, visibility hacks, and traffic hacks, and more to get you all the tools you need to gain more visibility and gain more traffic.
And of course, gain more sales. So head over to gethhm.com/toolbox to get all the free resources to help you get more.
And so, without further ado, let's get to it. Hello, the one, the only, Miss Heather Hargrove. Welcome to the show. And for those of you that don't know Heather, she's a business and marketing strategist skilled in business planning, sales, and most importantly, automation, which every single one of us truly need. My favorite part of this introduction is she is a self-described dork who loves to dance around the house with headphones, but she has an amazing heart. She loves giving back, spending time in the community, and making TikTok videos, having all kinds of fun with her kids, and more importantly, getting to work from anywhere. Heather, welcome to the show.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
We are doing great, Heather. We are excited. I mean, obviously, we've been working with you, and we know you very well. But for the audience that don't know who you are, why don't you give a quick little backstory?
Oh man, at this age, it's no longer a little backstory. It kind of is like, okay, so which point are we starting at? I grew up in my opening. So, worked in the regular business realm, like most of us do. We're taught, like, listen, go to college. So I got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree. I was working, absolutely miserable. And yeah, happened across Funnel Hacking Live 2019 by accident, because I was there for something else, and saw the energy and went back to my hotel room and Googled it and was introduced to Russell Brunson, and then all hell broke loose from there. And then I basically, 2 months later, I was like, I was miserable. I was like watching videos of Russell while I'm trying to like pretend to care about working. And yeah, I've been going ever since. And from somebody that really did not really use social media a lot. Like, I wasn't doing anything on social. I didn't know how to use software as a service stuff. Like, I knew how to sell it because we had developers. I knew what it did, but I wasn't really. So yeah, in the last, it's been almost a little bit over a year and a half now. I've learned everything. And now my brain is just full of all this stuff, and it just keeps going. It's so much fun. I love it.
Awesome. So cool. So Heather, I know, we were just like you. We were working jobs. We were struggling and had to get out, had to go do something different, and always realized that a boss was not the way to go. And so walk us through that first month. Walk us through maybe the first 6 months. Like, obviously there's trials and opportunities and challenges and wins and losses. And, walk us through that first little bit as you got going on your own.
Well, it definitely had its ups and downs, because originally, and I love it because every time she's going to hear these things, she's like, damn it, Heather, stop saying that. Originally, my best friend was supposed to take the dive with me, and she's a little bit more like, she had a business that, she ran before. So she was like more familiar with like some of the stuff. I'd never done it before. And we were all excited. We were hyped. We were like planning, I was going through the OFA challenge. We did everything. We bought the LLC. I left my job, still learning everything. And little by little, it's like, I'm going to leave at this point. I'm going to leave at this point. And then she took another job, which she's doing great at, and listen, teach his own. She's still doing now more stuff on the side, but I was freaking the hell out. Like, I was like, first of all, I hated video content. I hated getting in front of the camera. I was always hiding. And I got my original first coach, and she kept trying to get me to like do stuff. And every time, like after, I was like, I couldn't do anything. I was like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I had no clue. I was waiting for it to be perfect. I went through OFA, still couldn't figure out what I wanted to launch. I knew the whole concept. Like, I could speak funnel fluidly, but it was still like, what do I do? And I waited. And it kept, at first it was like exciting because I still had money saved up and I could do that. And then as the money drains, you start to freak the hell out because you're like, okay, now this is serious. Like there's nothing coming in and I don't know what to do. My family, they're not familiar with this world. So I really didn't have anybody in my family to reach out to. And I still wasn't really connecting with people until, until Tony got me in with Tony kept reaching out. Like Tony and I just kept connecting because I met Tony Caggiano. Okay, so back that up a second. I ended up going to Funnel Hacking Live 2020. So I tried to do a lot of it on my own. Ended up at Funnel Hacking Live 2020, went by myself, networked and did all that stuff, but met Tony Caggiano while we were waiting in line one day. And that's how I started to connect with people. It was honestly because of that. Like if I didn't go to that, I would still be all by myself, like in a corner, like in a ball, like trying to figure it out. But yeah, then Tony got me, he was like, Heather, you have to join this master. He's like, you have to get in it. He's like, you got to. And then met you guys and a bunch of other amazing people, which have been in here as well. And ever since then, it's just been one person after another. And now I swear my virtual friends outnumber my in-person friends like exponentially.
Yeah, it's crazy how much you get to know someone just from Zoom. Like we've never met, but like we talk weekly. We're always doing stuff online with you. So it feels like we've known each other for a while. For people that don't get into this type of world, what would you suggest they do?
If they don't get into this type
of if they haven't started to get into this world, but they're interested in getting in, what would you suggest them to actually start to network into?
Well, Facebook groups are always helpful because then you can really find your interest. So what do you have fun with? Like what interests you? Find Facebook groups with people that also have that interest and just start making those connections. And then when you start chatting with people, because you're eventually gonna find somebody you're like, man, you're cool. Like, can I hit you up? Like, and you just start chatting, and then next thing you know, you're gonna start chatting about something else. Like, it just grows because you don't know what you don't know, and that's where the connection process really helps. And with the online industry, so sales in real life is very cutthroat. Like, I've worked in plenty of places where it's kind of like, no, it's mine, and all this stuff. Sales online, completely different. Like everyone's like, how can I help you? Like, what can we do? Like, there's plenty for everybody. So reach out, ask questions, become a sponge, find things that you like to learn and just keep going, digging deeper into that. And once you have those Facebook groups and you start seeing people post, like you're going to get intrigued. You're going to start clicking on the freebies, set up a different email address specifically for those freebies before you even get started. Like legit, go to Gmail, make up something, do that first, and then go join because you're going to click on it and it's fun and do it. Like, don't be scared of the process. Like everyone's like, I don't want to get the freebie because then they're going to try to sell me or I'm going to go through this funnel. And they're like, yeah, like that's, be sold to, like be walked through because you're never going to sell anything online if you're scared of the process. And I like it. It's interesting. I like watching how people work. I'm intrigued by it. So I'm always like, yeah, let's get a call.
Right.
Let me pick your brain. Like, how do you talk? How do you function? And then, everyone just adds value. And it's, once you start going, it becomes very second nature, very comfortable.
Yeah, that's pretty actually an amazing point there because and Russell does talk a lot about it. Like, just go through my funnel slowly so you can learn what I'm doing, not just see what and buy what I'm selling, but learn the process and what's done. And every single funnel I look at, every single funnel I like that I look at, I screen record the entire thing. And I'm like, I might need to build that later. So I'm going to have an access to it. And, if we do buy something, then it's definitely, on the OTO page, I'm like, okay, I screen record that. Am I hitting yes on the OTO page? Not that I need the thing. I want to see the next page, right? But I can't see the next page if I don't buy it. So definitely trust the process, enjoy the process, and honestly, like for any of us that want to sell stuff online, we truly have to get comfortable with it on both sides. Like you're 100% right there. So you went through a year basically of discovering Russell, Funnel Hacking Live, going through an OFA, And then 2020 is when you made it and really started to blossom and find those connections. But what would you suggest? I mean, just kind of going off of what Ron asked, like, what would you suggest for those people in that same boat as you? They have their job, they just left their job, they're going through an OFA, or they're going through something to just start out, like, other than getting a bunch of freebies, like where should they go, specific, to whatever niche they're in? Like, what's your recommendation to really just get that information that they need so they can move forward and not be stuck?
Well, okay, so there's a couple of things. First of all, if you have another job, you should be investing in yourself and finding somebody that can help you speed it up. Like, I've been investing in myself with no job and coming up with the money, so that way I could do it. If you have income coming in and you're just like going out and spending it and doing whatever it is and you're not using it, like, find a coach that's doing what you want to do and pay them. Like, just imagine the layers that you get to skip when you do that. Now, if you can't do that, if the money's not there like that, affiliate programs are fantastic. Because first off, if it's done right, if you have it set up the right way, and there's different things that they should all have, but all the good ones. So if you are behind a product that you use, being able to sell somebody else's product instead of your own is fabulous. It's like being a freelance salesperson, right? Like, you work when you want, you sell their stuff, it's already made, you don't have to do anything about it. Most of them have really good onboarding, coaching. They're walking you through it and they're teaching you how to do it for free because they want you to sell their stuff. They're like, this is my product. Here's a good way to sell it. Here's some, things that you can post on social. They bring in people that have had success with it so they can showcase it. So finding a really good affiliate product. OFA, even if you don't want to build a funnel, learn about what the process is. Like, the One Funnel Away challenge, and I've done it a few times because I like to redo it and kind of see, like, what did you miss? It's like when you watch a movie and you watch it again. Like, you're like, oh man, I missed that part. It's not the easiest thing to get through. Like, it's a lot, but the knowledge that you gain from it, of the process of funnel hacking, how to figure out what you want to do, how to outsource. Like, a lot of people I talk to, they're like, I'm like, oh, did you go on Fiverr Freelancer? Like, what is that? I'm like, oh, like, what do you mean? Like, it's this amazing place where people live that will do stuff that you don't know how to do or want to do. So learning that for $100, oh my God, like, just do it. And even if you fall behind, just go back and catch up and watch the videos. You get access to a training area where you can watch it whenever you want. I had my kids watching it with me and they're like, Mom, turn off Russell. Like, they're like, we can't do Russell anymore. And it'll be like nighttime and I'm watching a video with Russell. They're like, no, you got to put video down. No more Russell. And then, yeah, you'll go from there. Because what happens is, it's funny the way that things pop up when you start going. Because then you're going to be like, now things that you didn't see before start to arrive when you're on the journey. So when you start doing OFA, right? So let's say you pick that path. You spend $100. People are talking about what they're doing. You're learning something. You're like, oh man, that's cool. And then you're like, you learn that, right? So then you might even learn during OFA of a good funnel that you want to build. And then now you're like, that interests me. Maybe you're into design and you're like, all right, well, I want to build out a funnel for Pinterest people that do have templates for Pinterest or whatever it is. Or maybe you're just on Pinterest all the time. You're like, I can make money selling stuff that I'm doing already. Like, you're doing it anyways. You might as well create something behind it. But that's, if you're going to start anywhere, start there. $100. Like, you can't beat it. And then, sorry about the rabbit hole you're going to go on after that, because Russell is amazing at what he does. You are going to get very super excited and think you can take over the world. So, and you just got to go.
Well, I think you said something that was key that I think is kind of how we're together anyway, is this community. Mm-hmm. So you're in the OFA, you're in his community, you're in the ClickFunnels, and you're a funnel hacker. And then you start understanding that there's other people that are doing similar things that are teaching you. And it's something that, we learned at Funnel Hacking Live, is there were so many people there, but they were all competing against themselves and not each other. So they were willing to give all this information to help people get to where they were, because even if you're in the same niche, there's more than enough people to go around. right? And the community piece of it is just as important of actually starting and learning something, because you're surrounding yourself with the right people to help you get where you want to go.
Definitely. And the thing is too, and I've even had people that I've worked with where it's like they've even decided to not use ClickFunnels, which is fun. There's so many platforms out there. Right. It's the community, it's the mindset, it's the way of making the thing, right? It's like seeing the big picture of it. That's what funnel hacking is. Like, yes, he owns ClickFunnels and that's a great platform. However, if you're just going into it being like, I don't want to pay and I don't want to do ClickFunnels, you don't have to use ClickFunnels, but learn the stuff and then use what you want to use. I'm like, there's so many. And then the thing is, you don't even know what's out there until you get in the community. And then you're like, oh my God, like, to me, it's like Christmas half the time. Like, as you can see, I got stuff back there already. We're moving in mid-December. We're celebrating early. Don't mind the tree.
I was going to ask.
Put it up. I was like, listen, because we're moving out. It's December 20th that we're moving out.
Gotcha.
So I was like, we're starting early. So this is it's a Christmas bush. So a Christmas bush. It's a no. But you start to see things and yeah, like it's just nuts. And if you are working and you should be reading books, right? Like as well. So it shouldn't just be like the stuff like read books that are like I have right now on my desk. What is it? Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. I have that. And I'm going through that now. Like you should be spending time reading books, asking people what books they're reading, what's helped them. And it's just, yeah, things I didn't do growing up. And I'm so pissed. Like yeah. I get so mad sometimes about that.
I definitely didn't do enough of that, 100%. And, the whole school system doesn't teach that, right? It doesn't teach self-development. It teaches you history and math and all the stuff that's good for, overall stuff, but it doesn't teach you what you need to know in entrepreneurship. It doesn't teach you what you need to know for your taxes. It doesn't teach you what you need to know for real life in so many different ways. But I love what you do in regards to automation. And I know you've helped us with a few of our pieces of stuff that goes on.
Frank 2000.
What?
With Frank 2000.
Frank 2000, yes. Yes, Mr. Bot, Frank 2000. But walk us through, like, how did you end up falling in love with the automation aspect? And just what took you down that path and what do you really do? Teach us about automation right now.
So I'll start with what got me down that path. That's the introvert side of of me. Cause I'm an extroverted introvert. Like by the end of the night, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like I don't want to, I don't pick up my cell phone. I'm like, leave me the hell alone. So for me, automation is a time where I get to like, just sit down and I get to like live in this world of stuff like on my computer. And it's not like I have to be out. I don't have to be on the phone. I don't have to be doing anything. And then plus I've always been and I always put this back to like, even when I was in the Army, I would always go up to them and be like, listen, you've been doing like, can we streamline this? Like we can do this. And they're like, no, this is the way we've always done it. And I'm like, I'm not that type of girl. So after 4 years, I was like, I got to go because you guys are slowing me down. Like I always feel like everything is so slow. And I'm a firm believer in seeing how the process is working and then seeing what you can add in because things are changing very rapidly. Being a millennial and having used a typewriter originally when I was younger to write, papers, like technology has changed and it's just so beautiful when you get to go through the process. Like for me, it's beauty. Like it's my art, where people like they're painting and it's like this gorgeous thing. So automation, first of all, what are you doing over and over again that you shouldn't be doing over and over again, right? Like if you are going through certain tasks on a continuous basis, so audit yourself, right? So when you're doing your work, spend a week just auditing what you're doing that day. Like you get up, what are you doing? What are you constantly doing over and over again? And then what tools or what things can you implement in there that'll take some of it away, right? So one of my clients who's absolutely amazing and just like, well, actually I have a few amazing clients, but one of them, like, he was using Trello for his internal work, right? And he was basically putting projects in there, but everything was kind of falling a little bit behind. Like, he's an agency owner, so you have multiple projects, you have things that you're doing, and it was just piling up, and it was just never really organized. Spent a majority of time in it trying to figure out what you had to do. So we automated some of that. So started automating and cleaning up and adding due dates, and automating the fact that when one card would hit this date, it would move. And there's different things you can add on in there that you basically give it rules. You say, when this happens, it does this. Another thing he did was then onboard his clients in Trello. So then he made a Trello board for his clients. And instead of his clients texting him all the time asking for updates, now when he closes out a card on his thing that he's working on, it updates in their thing, and they actually sends them an email automatically without having to do it, updating them on the process. That's one way. Zapier integrations, oh my God. So, but you can, whatever you want to do, like when you're mapping your customer journey, what can you do to keep you out of it? It's like, even if you have to spend the money, right? So let's say you're like, listen, I don't want to learn Zapier. I don't want to learn Trello. I don't want to learn all these things. Pay somebody to do it for you, to set it all up originally. And that's the one time you pay it, instead of hiring an employee that you're paying over and over and over again. And then the great thing is that starts like, that continues whenever you're not there. So there's certain people that, like one of my other clients, somebody purchases and it immediately sends them to a text messaging. So like it onboards them via text message instead of him having to walk them through it. So it's just, there's so many out there. So don't go crazy with like trying to add 50 million things in at once. Start with one layer. Like what are you comfortable with? What layer can you add in? Even if it's just email automation, right? For me, I also have some simple stuff where if I'm constantly writing, something, like I have some people I work with in Slack, and if I'm onboarding somebody in Slack, it's not like I can have a canned response in there, right? So I have somewhere else where I type out that same copy and paste it. Like just the little things that you're doing over and over again. Like stop doing that. If you do it more than once on a continued, like just create something to do it. Like whatever it is, like just do that.
No, I love, so a couple of things I want to touch on, because you said how quick technology is changing. And my cousin got one of those foldable like screen phones. Have you seen those?
I have.
So I was like, wow, I don't think I'd ever use the phone, because I just kept opening it and shutting it and opening and shutting it. And I was like, it's a screen that folds.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. How does that even work? And so I was just playing with that. But going back to the automation piece, and you help some clients automate some things.
Yeah.
How did you get them comfortable enough to let go of that process? Because as owners of stuff,
yeah,
that's probably the hardest part, the mindset to say, I'm going to trust this to automation and not have to put my foot in there.
Right.
How'd you help them with that?
Well, first of all, just conversation. When you start to map it out, when they start to learn, you can kind of tell, because a lot to do with automations, people, when you start like going through what they're doing, because I dive into their business. I'm like, okay, let's first get to know your business. Like, how are you running it? And then I make tweaks and adjustments. So we start little by little, once again, instead of like going like balls to the wall and you're like, we're doing it all, going at it. You add in piece by piece, and you have to test it and tweak it. Like, how many times have you accidentally sent like the wrong email or the wrong whatever? Like people, and that's the thing too, like people understand. Like even during COVID, we're all at home. People have people running behind them on Zoom. Like it is what it is. Like it's life. You're going to have mistakes. And unless you're willing to take the chance, you're never going to get it right in the long run, which is going to help you grow. So it's better to start while you're growing and implement while you're growing, instead of then being later on down the road where now it's like, oh my God, I have way too much going on. Now I have to implement everything. Like slowly add in pieces as you need it. If you're getting emails, right? Add in the automation aspect. Don't just think of the first email. Plot out like the journey for like the next, month or two. Like, what's the initial series? Okay, great. Do they fall into your regular broadcast emails? Great. Are they tagged already when they come in? So when you're running something, those people that clicked on that freebie are automatically tagged. You're not thinking about it. You're not wondering if you're targeting the right people. Do that in the steps. Same thing with chatbots. Like in ManyChat, like when you're going through it, just walk the journey. It's like you're taking somebody, like how Russell says, it's like when you're building a funnel and it's like you're taking somebody by the hand and you're walking. It's the same thing. It's just envisioning that you've stepped out of it and then just letting them know that things are going to happen. You're going to mess up and it is what it is. And shoot, Facebook can go down, ManyChat can go down. How many times did Zoom like freaking lock up? It's technology. Like, just go with it. It's fine. It'll be okay. If anything, you get to send another broadcast that says, oops, my bad. And everyone's like, haha, yeah, we did. You get more replies. It's great. I think sometimes people make mistakes just to send the email saying they made a mistake so more people reply because they sent the mistake email. It's just, It is what it is.
Well, I think from a copy perspective, I don't believe every mistake that happens. Oops, I did this. I know. No, you're just saying it.
No, you didn't.
All right. I want to shift gears a little bit because I want to get into everything that's going on now. But before we can get what's going on now for you, we got to see what's in the past. And so hindsight 2020, we all know that if we had the perfect hindsight, we could go a lot further in life. So if you had the ability to go back in time and actually give a younger Heather a little bit of advice with the knowledge that you have now, what advice would you have given yourself and when would you go back?
Yes, I was about to say, oh shit, how much younger? So if we're going, no, I'm kidding.
Some people go back to yesterday,
right.
And some people go back 30 years. It's really up to you.
It's really up to you.
Yeah. So if I could go back to my ideal time would be when probably I would say elementary or middle school, right? And I would just be like, listen, you're going to start liking boys. Don't worry about them. Like, focus on you. Don't hang, like, just do school. Like, focus on school, read some stuff, learn some stuff, and stop going in the AOL chat rooms just for fun and actually learn how to do stuff. Listen, I'm old school. We had dial-up, all right? Right? And then, like, get off the line. I got to get on. But I was really, for being so introvert, I always I was never comfortable just chilling on my own. And now I love it. Like, I prefer my company by myself or with my kids over, like, people be like, going to go do something. I'm like, I don't know if I want to. But I would be like, just chill, learn something, like read, learn a skill. And then I would be like, definitely don't go to college because you're not going to use that shit. So it would just be do that. If I could go back when I started this journey and I had plenty of money put aside, I would say, bitch, stop being so cheap and actually hire a really good coach and just go. And stop trying to figure it out on your own. Because I did OFA. I had, you have your starter coaches that you start with, and you're like, oh, I'm comfortable paying this much, but that's about it. And that's fine if that's where you are. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I am not. I'm just saying if I could go back knowing what I know now, but then I probably wouldn't have known the right coaches to go to at that point anyways. So no matter what, we end up where we are by the experiences that we have. But I am definitely teaching my children now, like, they're already doing Florida virtual school. They're probably both going to test out and just do the GED at 16. They're already both bored out of their mind. Like, they're like, this is my daughter. Oh my God. Wrote her. She is 11. She wrote her teacher an email basically, and she writes really good emails. Like, mind you, I think better than most people that I know. Wrote her teacher an email explaining that she felt reading something and then having to rewrite what she just read was a complete waste of her time, and that she doesn't think she would have to do that because she's like, it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. I basically just read the thing and you're telling me to rewrite what I just read. She's like, it's right there.
That sounds like something I did in school. I love math. Like, I love math. And I remember, gosh, I don't remember what it was, algebra, calculus, something where you had, it had to be calc, where you had to prove a shape was there. And I said, okay, I have a question. If I prove a building isn't there with your math, does it disappear? And he goes, no, that's not how it works. I go, then I don't want to take this class anymore. I'm never going to use that. Like, I'm never going to use that. Right. All right. So we kind of hit past what you would do differently, or, the advice you'd give. What are you up to now?
Oh man, craziness of sorts. So I do coaching where people do their own stuff, and I do some done for you services as well. So it kind of just varies. Everyone's at like different levels. And then I am making a podcast. I am doing.
And it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a great one.
Oh my God. And the crazy part is, and like, I already know because you're doing like, you guys are doing the editing and doing all that stuff. So Ron, when you start listening to some of this stuff, you're going to crack up. Cause I legit talk to you in it. When I like, I'm like, Ron, cause I was doing like the intros and the outro. I was like, this is not fun coming up with this, or the trailer it was. I was like, man, this isn't good. I'm like, damn it, Ron. I'm like, stop laughing at me. And I'm like talking to you in it. And then the same thing with, so I've done a few interviews. So the launch is coming up. So I've done the starter interviews. The first one, it was like actually a little bit, I'm used to being on this side of it. So like being the one like asking the questions and like hosting, it's like a different feel. Like I don't even invite people over for dinner. I don't like to host. I'd rather go somewhere and make you do it. So it's a little bit different, but I had to keep telling myself, listen, I'll, just hang out with some friends, have a good time and talk. So first one, like it went well. Once again, I talked to you like, and be like, whatever. I'm like, this is it. Like Ron. So yeah, everybody knows that you're listening when we're recording because I'm like, damn it.
So funny.
It's going to be funny when I hear you talking to Ron when I'm editing.
Oh, I love you too, editing.
I was just about to say that. I was like, I wonder if we tell her or we just let it go.
Oh, because I just always for some reason curse at Ron. So Corey, you're safe.
Perfect.
He's just the one that like you're the one I run to like when I'm like, hey, can I? And like Ron is like, damn it, Ron. I don't know why. That's just the relationship we have.
Right.
Yeah. So that's going on. And then, just moving forward, investing in my next coach for myself so I can get even better, which then helps my clients get better. And just freaking full on, like going and then getting ready to move. We are going to, be homeless for a while. It's great.
Homeless on purpose. So where's your first destination?
We don't know yet. So there's a couple of places we're coordinating. So our official move out date is December 20th. I thought it was a little bit later. I finally checked my lease, which I'm glad I did because I was like thinking it was like the 26th, 27th. So it's December 20th. So probably we're going to do family stuff first. So we're probably going to do Miami. I have family in Chicago, St. Louis, Texas. And then I have a client of mine that was like, hey, I have a cabin in Virginia if you want to go stay there for a while. I'm like, oh, cool. And then just wherever it's going to be based on driving and Airbnb. So like, do we want to fly or do we want to drive? What are the current Airbnb rates in those areas? Plus it's going to be winter and I'm a Florida girl, which pisses me off the most. I'm like, of course, at the time I'm doing this, it's going to be snowing like in a ton of places. And I don't want to go like all the way to west. I don't know how far I want to go. So it depends. But then the funny part is before this, my daughter was like talking to me about something and then we're Googling. Apparently, like I want to move to Vietnam.
Vietnam, really?
Oh my God. Like the pricing there is fantastic. The crime rate is very low. It's a very welcoming and like you still like, of course, like in the US, we don't really open ourselves up to a lot. So in my mind, when people say Vietnam, I just still picture Vietnam, like what we were taught. No, like it's absolutely gorgeous there.
With the kids being online, what a better time to do all this. And so if you ever make your way to Colorado, I'm sure we would be able to hang out with you for a while. So anyway, Ron, welcome back. You left us for a minute.
I am so shocked. Like, you guys are still alive right now. Like my computer went to the Apple screen of unhappiness. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm shocked you guys are still here. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it worked out.
We
We're
survived. We did
So,
it.
all right. So Vietnam, that's going to be a really cool story as you share, as we all listen to your podcast and hear the journey of when you move, right? That's challenging in itself, but you're going to be with the kids and going all these different places on purpose, working from wherever you end up. They'll be going to school from wherever you end up. Like, it's just going to be such a unique and a fun story. And, definitely pretty cool thing. So, all right. I have one final question for you.
Yes.
And that is, what is your favorite automation that everyone should go do and get right now?
Oh God, you're making me pick one.
Just one.
Right now, okay. So of course, majority of people that are on here are Facebook people, right? So right now, if you're going to choose one thing to add into your portfolio, chatbots, messenger bots, just do it. It's going to save you so much time. So like you can run your freebie to the bot and then get them in there. And then you can continue to communicate and sell and just update them like, hey, I'm going live. And then they get the notification. Like, it's going to save you so much time. So much time. And then of course you can get their email, which takes them to your email automation tool, which you should do because get their email, and then do different automation in there. But if you're going to add on one thing right now, I would say add in chatbots and use that as an actual tool to foster the relationship with people, not just ones that you're trying to close and stuff like that, but like people that are actually showing up consistently to see what you're doing. Like, it's a great way to stay in contact. And so you let them know when new podcasts drop, you let them know, you send them the link. It's just, you can set it and forget it. Like, you can plan like a month worth of stuff out and just be like, okay, my tool's going to do this. And it's so pretty.
No, I cannot wait to see all the people that hop on to do that, because I know how much it's changed us. Ours is named Frank 2000, so he's a member of the family. All right, Heather, where can everyone kind of connect with you? So if they want anything dealing with automation and your help, where can they find you?
Facebook for one. So Heather Hargrove. I'm basically at the Heather Hargrove on all stuff. I love TikTok. So if you want to have fun with me on there, do that. And then I give out information, stuff like that, in my Facebook group. So if you go to digitalwarriorhq.com, it'll take you right to it, or just look for Digital Warrior HQ. And or if you forget, just, reach out to Ron and Corey and be like, hey, there was this girl that you had on there one time with a Christmas tree in the back.
I think we might be able to send people your way for sure.
Yeah.
And find the person that has the Christmas tree
right
first part of November.
Oh, I love it though.
All right, Heather, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to see your new show and to listen to your new show and to hear about all the journey that happens over the coming months. So again, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
See you later.
All right, Ron, another great interview in the books. Almost had some computer issues, but we made it through. You made it through. So couple of takeaways. What do we got today?
I'm going to give one for computers. Don't try to plug it in when you're live. It will disconnect everything. So that's what happened. That's number one.
Plan ahead.
Number two, don't be scared of the process, right? So she was talking about the process and understanding you're probably going to get sold on something, but that's how you're going to get good at what you're trying to do. So don't get scared by the process. And then automate sooner rather than later.
Yeah. And I've got one more for you that I personally loved, and that is invest in yourself. And she made the comment of invest in yourself for those people that actually have a job. And right. So often, I even when we had jobs, I never invested, right? It was the investment like I started really thinking about investing in myself after I didn't have a job. But gosh, if only we would have had a job and went and invested in ourselves at that point, and to get the right coaches and the right development that you need, so you can just jump and go, launch super, super strong at that point.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We are excited that you joined us again today, and we are thankful that you are a part of our community. And Corey, where can they find us on Facebook?
Well, definitely for those of you that are not in our group, just head on over to Facebook groups. So facebook.com/groups/now22. But you can always find Mr. Ron Jr. As well as Corey E22. Anywhere you find, we'll be there waiting for you.
All right, guys. Thanks for being the best part of the Hindsight Hackers community.